right, as tradition on the digital front, let's welcome SABC digital news producer, Ms. Buchule Putini. Buchule, good morning, you.
Morning, Alicia. How are you?
Beautiful hair.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
All right, and of course, on the main set, we have analyst Tebogo Detsejo, as well as media analyst, Mr. Tebogo Detsejo, as well as political analyst, Professor Stephen Friedman. A very good morning, gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good morning, Alicia.
Good morning.
All right, and we do have in our Pretoria studios Professor Tenyeko Maluleko, who joins us from there. A very good morning to you, Prof. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Good morning, Alicia. Always a pleasure.
Always a pleasure to have you too, Prof. Now we shift our focus for a quick update on the trending stories on social media this past week. Buchule, take it away. What was the biggest hashtag?
It has been a very busy week.
Very busy.
Very busy week, but the latest that is trending at the moment, Deputy President Cyril Ramaphosa has lost a court bid to stop the Sunday Independent newspaper from publishing an alleged sex scandal, which implicates him. Now, the Gauteng High Court on Saturday found that Ramaphosa had not placed sufficient evidence to show that the matter was urgent. Let's see what the tweet on Twitter says.
What are they saying on
Lawrence Dube says, NDZ and Zuma people be like, how can you believe newspapers? Media is fooling. Now that hashtag Ramaphosa leaks is out, you see it's true. What is the truth? Hashtag Ramaphosa.
Oh my goodness, let's look at more tweets. African Spring there says it's a bit fuzzy. It says the media is a hashtag Ramaphosa factions through zero criticism. Imagine if these emails were about someone in the Zuma camp. Okay.
Now Felix Mutawung says at AM live on SAFM. So these Ramaphosa emails are dirty tricks, but the Gupta leaks are not. How does that work?
Very interesting. I want to hear commentary from the gentleman. Tebogo, I'm sure you've filled yourself up to your cup is full from looking at the analysis on Twitter. How has Twitter reacted to all these allegations against the Deputy President?
Well, I think they've reacted. You've covered it very accurately. There's a duplicity of opinions.
Yeah.
I'm not sure whether or not this particular story is that important, particularly because, I mean, it's his personal life, but that's the essence of leadership. You will be tested on how you behave personally and professionally, but I'm not sure if it has an impact on his leadership skills, and as a person, I'm not sure if that has much of an impact.
Professor Friedman?
Well, I don't think it's going to have much political impact because, just remember, since we became a democracy, we've never actually had a president who had one partner for their entire life. It's not a big issue in South African politics. But I think most importantly, to me, I think we need to clarify what's going on here. This is not the right of the media to take on power. This is the right of the media to tell us what dirt some people in power have over other people in power. And when the person there says, well, what is the difference? The difference is, what does this mean to the average South African?
Yeah.
Okay, if I reveal that people are fixing the bread price or people are stealing money from pensioners, that's of concern to the average South African.
True.
The question of what politicians do in their private lives doesn't really affect anybody. So I think this idea that this is a wonderful blow for freedom of the media, when media start taking on powerful people in the interests of the ordinary South African, that's when we can say it's a victory for media freedom.
Professor Maluleke, let's find out from you. What is your view in this whole debacle?
I couldn't agree more with Stephen. You know, I really don't know how significant this scandal is going to be in the long term. Granted, you know, the English expression about nothing is fair in love and war. There is love and there is war in this story, and I suppose that the leadership skills of Ramaphosa and his moral stature is what is being attacked here. But you know, as Steve says, in that department, we haven't really been very lucky as far as our leadership is concerned. And that it comes at this time, clearly the gloves are off, the time for campaigning has begun, and dirt will be thrown around, and this is the beginning of it.
All right. Buchule, please go ahead and take us through the next big hashtag.
Now, Alicia, one of the top stories this week was the story of son of the president, Duduzane Zuma. In an interview with the BBC, he has denied involvement in alleged corruption despite his links with the controversial Gupta family. Now, people reacted to the interview.
What are they saying?
People are saying, Uvela P. Gwebo he says he is likable, Duduzane that is, but he and his father are feeling the pressure now. He thinks it is a joke.
More tweets there. Africa is a country, says, asking for a South African friend. What is with hashtag state capture crowd? First one of the Guptas, now Duduzane, only giving interviews to the BBC.
And Enoch Mtembu says, thanks to Duduzane, must enjoy luxurious life before we tackle him and sent to tough life in prison. He will be traumatized like Shabir Sheikh.
Is that the last of our tweets?
That's the last of our tweets from that story.
Professor Friedman, what do you think? What do you make of these developments?
Well, I think we are going to talk about it a bit more. I just wonder if we're getting to the stage, and there are some indications where even people in politics who supported the president are going to start ditching the Guptas. There is a sign of this. So, you know, I think that what the president's son said in that interview is not going to have terribly much credibility among politicians across the spectrum at the moment, because I think the tide is really moving away from the Gupta family.
A very quick one. Let's look at the last big hashtag, Buchule. We're almost out of time. What was the
Finally
big hashtag?
was Kenya, and the Supreme Court, when it announced that on Friday that the Electoral Board committed irregularities during last month's presidential vote, harming the integrity of the election that handed President Uhuru Kenyatta a second 5-year term.
Okay.
Now, people on social media, Masika says, Uhuru thinks he owns Kenya. Let him not underestimate the power of the marginalized. Polite warning.
You've been warned. Champion Boy says, I have waited so long for Raila to be Kenya's president. Now I feel it coming. Yeah, I see it coming.
And finally, Amaganji Thomas says, hashtag Supreme Court decides, and he says, Kenya, we have to fix the third respondent in the next 58 days so that he doesn't fix the hashtag Supreme Court.
Mikora, please. Tebogo, a quick comment from you.
Well, I think this is a victory for the independence of the judiciary in Kenya.
Yeah.
As you've known that, you know, since 2007, elections have been subject to a lot of debate. I mean, a lot of people died in 2007 after the elections. And so I think that this is good that we're seeing, you know, people being held accountable. And I really hope that we can also relook at how the observers, you know, are conducting themselves at elections, because this is now egg on their face.
Absolutely. All right, Buchule, do give our viewers that URL so that they can get the rest of these stories and all the other stories that our digital front will be covering throughout the day.
For the latest news updates, you can go on www.sabc.co.za/news, and you can watch videos on our SABC Digital News on YouTube, our YouTube page, and on Twitter you can find us on @SABC News Online.
All right. Thank you, Buchule. Will Eskom be held fully accountable for misleading the country about a payment it made to Trillion and then lying about it? Well, find out. All the analysis is coming up after this break.